let's talk about Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. Now, VF5 for me was a disappointment. I remember spending time streaming the game and had a lot of fun, and even thought about replacing Tekken 7 with Virtua Fighter 5 as my main game. But as I played the online, the quality of the matches just wasn't good enough. Sometimes I would have perfect connection, but other times I'd have terrible connections. And I was always thinking this could be better. So it kind of brought on this sense of disappointment. But I think it's how Sega decided to handle reviving Virtua Fighter as a franchise that was the game's biggest problem. Sega had initially announced Virtua Fighter Cross Esports at TGS 2020 on September 25th, which left me and a lot of people excited, as there hadn't been a new Virtua Fighter game in over 10 years. The general speculation being that this was Virtua Fighter 6 or a reboot of the series. As up to this point, the current way to play the game on modern consoles was either on PS3 through emulation or pirating, or in the Yakuza series if you went to a Sega arcade. Virtua Fighter Cross Esports wasn't elaborated on until 8 months later, on May 27, 2021, when Sega announced that Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown would be re-released as Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, a free-to-play PS4 game only released a week later on June 1st. Mind you, there had been no announcements or advertisement for Virtua Fighter for 8 months, so generally speaking, unless you follow the fighting game community, you probably wouldn't know about it. Adding to the confusion, Sega decided to implement delayed-based netcode instead of rollback netcode, which is the better online experience. This aspect alone was why I and a lot of people thought this game was going to die out and become a Discord fighter, killing any hopes for Virtua Fighter 6 altogether. But there's still hope. It wasn't until a few months ago that Maximilian Dude brought up an interview from an episode of Harada's Bar, where one of the producers of Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown implies that the game had over 8 million downloads in only a month. As Max continues, he talks about tweets from Japanese news source Dengeki that Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown was only supposed to be a test to see if people were still interested in the series as a whole. If you guys haven't yet, I highly suggest you check out Maximilian Dude's video on Virtua Fighter 6. So with all the negatives, there's still hope that Virtua Fighter 6 could redeem the series within the near future. As for now, there hasn't been any solid confirmation on Virtua Fighter 6. The only thing we've heard from Virtua Fighter lately is a crossover with the Yakuza series. Have you played Virtua Fighter? What's your experience with Virtua Fighter as a whole? Do you think Virtua Fighter 6 is going to happen? Let me know in the comments below. This has been The Backlog. Peace. Hellblaze. Alright.